do we still feel in the 21st century, in the general society, not just in Muslim society, not in the Ummah necessarily, or Muslim community, but in general society, do we still feel that there is a long way to go regarding the marginalization of women? I think it would only be right for me to start off with Sister Sarah, as they say,
As
ladies
we-
before gentlemen.
It's okay. As you know, this is it an English society or a Muslim or a non-Muslim society? Man is always a dominating personality. He's always a bread earner, you say. And especially in the Muslim community and Muslim world, we respect husbands, we are very obedient, and we do listen. But the time has changed. We are in 21st century, so it's a both way.
What does that mean, the 21st century? So time has changed.
We are
Tell me.
modern Muslims now. We are not the Muslim. The time has gone where we don't have the ink, we don't have to write it, we have to speak up. Now there's a computer world. We are going in social media. Most of the things before the parents will ask you. If I'll ask my parents before I go and Google things, so I'm not sure what he's and she's talking. So we are in very modern society and we are moving. So the time has changed, and according to the time, we have to think that way. That okay, we have to work hard. Sometimes women are working more harder than the man, but still, man is always being a dominating personality. This is the way the generation is being created. So
Do you think this your statements apply also to the mainstream society, to
yeah,
non-Muslim?
it is. No, nothing to do with the Muslim. We talk generally.
Generally, across the
Of course,
board.
I'm Muslim and you're a Muslim, so we have to, talk about more about
We'll
the way
go into detail with
into
the Muslim
detail,
society
yeah.
also.
But
Yeah.
generally, is the man, of course, is dominating personality, and then he's a bread earner. He has got more responsibility outside to feed the children, to look after the wife, buy the house, and these things. The man has to do it, and then unfortunately, not everybody does, but man is always a dominating. That's what I think. So far, if you see, we have more doctors women, we have a pilot women, we have in Pakistan, there are more women, they are in army, they are in policing. There are lots of women are ahead now, but it's still women's place is not as man's in this society.
Brother Marciniak, Mr. Marciniak, should I say, do you think there's still an issue in terms of closing the gap? We can agree that there's a gap, but closing the gap. Say, for example, mainstream society, there's all these studies that come out, and they come out periodically, these journals that say, women doing the same amount of hours as men, doing the same type of job, sometimes at what's supposed to be a higher pay grade, but somehow ending up with less money. How is that possible in the 21st century in mainstream society? I'm not sure how, but is there still big work to do?
Yes, I was thinking about this before I came on air. If you look back at over the 19th century, women were not didn't have jobs at all. It was only until the middle of the century that you had the first dentist, the first doctor, and things have progressed from there. So today, in theory, men and women are on an equal footing in terms of educational opportunities, in terms of work opportunities. But there are still problems, I think. I mean, speaking as a lawyer, there was a Supreme Court judge recently who said, oh, well, the fact that women are severely underrepresented in the judiciary is something they'll just have to put up with another 25 years or so, which is the most sexist remark you could ever imagine. So while they are well,
and as a leader in society, you could say, prominent figure in society.
So when somebody says something like that, it sort of makes you start thinking, wow, is that really a perception today? So despite all the progress that they think has been made, there's still serious work to be done in terms of equality of the sexes, I think, and this is just a symptom of it, I think.
Okay. So what's your thoughts in terms of, we look at Britain. Britain represents itself on the world scene as a sort of a leader, at least culturally, and America as not just but probably the leader. I mean, we've had a woman prime minister in Margaret Thatcher.
Yes, the prime minister from Benazir Bhutto,
maybe
Pakistan.
a future,
and in America,
maybe a future women president.
And maybe Senator Bush, or Governor Bush, or whatever title she dons at the moment. Clinton,
Yeah,
sorry, not
exactly.
Bush, excuse me, Clinton.
President Clinton, too.
Maybe Mark II, yeah. So
you never know.
is that an indication? Is that an indication, or is that just icing on a cake? Is it cat food inside and just cream on the outside and cat food in the middle, or or is the change and shift taking place? I'll start with
Well, the
yourself.
women are not behind. They are not left behind. We are in politics. I am in politics very much with Labour and my international politics in Pakistan in PTI, which is Imran Khan. I'm representing Pakistan Tehreek Insaf. So I'm in politics and locally, internationally. So if you know what you're doing, where's your place, you can always fight and you can stand out. I had a meeting with my MP, local MP, one-to-one, and he said to me, "You can do it, Sarah." I said, "That's why I want to do it." He said, "When you come for the councillor, I'm working for a charity, which is Muslim Rose Welfare, as a woman, single mother, looking after my home as a woman, and then I'm working for the community, and why don't I go into politics? So I can do it, every woman can do it." But we have a wrong impression of the women, excuse me for that, I should say, why the men always think, "Oh, women, no, you can't do it." It's always says, "Oh, women is driving, very careful. If the man is driving, it's fine. The more accident they do it, men, not the women." We have to change our thinking about that. "Oh no, the women cannot do it." Of course, we're not that strong as you people are, but we can do that. I have a little boy, he's 8 years old. He said to me, "You know what the point?" He said, "Mom, you should say, can the men feel the pain of the labor pain? How the women can bear that?" I said, "Oh my God, what's a good point." So he said to me, if the women can tolerate the labor pain, they're more stronger than the man.
Okay, because when you said women are not as strong as the men, I was going to ask you what sense do you mean?
Yeah,
well,
but,
obviously, there's physical strength,
physical
there's
and
emotional
then,
strength, there's mental strength.
Yes,
so we
so
excel in,
that's-
men and women excel in different
Yes.
spheres of the human experience.
So
What say you, Mr. Marciniak? What say you about this
Yeah.
need for the gap to close? I did say, is it cat food in the middle and cream on the outside, or is
Well,
there
I mean,
something more sincere going on?
I
And there's
guess I would
a meaningful shift.
I guess I would draw the analogy if you want to say, well, the next president will be President Clinton. Well, that would be a good thing for women. I think you have to say the jury has to be out.
Okay. So
if you-
symbolically
if
good.
you compare it to this president, you
Yeah.
ask the question, well,
Was it good for African Americans?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
I mean, you could argue in theory it's been the worst time for African Americans
In some
a
years,
generation,
yeah.
despite having a black president. So does that,
Having a female president doesn't automatically
Yeah.
equal progress for women, sort of
not
thing.
necessarily. I think
Right, right.
it is a bit of like you call it, there is potential for it being a veneer rather than anything substantial in terms of development.
Interesting. I wanted to look into a headline. I'm not such a headline chaser, but there was something that came up in the mainstream press some weeks back.
from David Cameron.
David Cameron,
Yes.
but the sentiment hasn't dissolved just over a few weeks. It's still what is the perception. If we, the many news stories that we have out, it's a daily or it's a seasonal theme about Muslim women, and in some countries, I think it's Afghanistan. They're just opening a university or college for women recently. We're really trying to push for women's rights in the Muslim world. So there's this perception. I think David Cameron said something to the effect that Muslim women are traditionally submissive or something of this nature. I found it intriguing, I found it fascinating, but also problematic. But I guess I'm interested in finding out your perception.
I think so. All politicians nowadays using Muslim card. Did you see the Trump? What he said?
The Trump card. I mean,
So Trump card. These people, they're using Muslims as a joke,
okay.
and they're using Muslims' name to get the more vote and to get a popularity, to get to attention. In fact, what exactly he has to say? He's been misinterpreted this. He's supposed to say that he was talking about the English. If it's that he said in Manchester.
Right.
English is not my language. I am learning English. Most of the women, they don't learn English. They don't want to know. He was talking about 50 years before women, the people they moved in, they migrated from Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, all these and Commonwealth countries. English at the time, 50 years back, it was not an international language. So if they don't know English, it means they are submissive. If they don't know English, it means they are extremists. Why? Did somebody ask David Cameron to learn my language, Urdu or Arabic? No, he will not know with a single word. So if the women, they don't speak English, they don't understand English, they have got people they can help them out, husband, mother-in-law, father-in-law, or maybe his daughter. They're helping her. She's in the 60s and 50s. If she doesn't want to know the language, what's the big deal? But she's still buying, she's still shopping, she's maybe paying a good tax, or maybe she's owning the house or something, she has a business contact. So she's contributing the community, but why does she has to learn English? If she doesn't have to learn, fair enough, it's her choice. We are living in a freedom. we talk about the democracy, free of speech of freedom.
Free
So
of
why
speech
we
or free
don't-
not to speak.
Yeah, okay.
but I'm just
fair
being- just
enough.
being- just
but
being-
why she has to learn English? Tell me the reason.
So
why.
just to push the boat
And
out a
that's
little
what
bit,
he said.
he may argue, or those from that school of thought may argue, it's evidence of a lack of integration, of not being part of
It's
the
not
fabric
true.
of British society. We need to communicate and interact.
Okay, fine. He's okay. 50 years old women or 60 years old women, what she can have, what she can achieve to being in a community. She's sitting at home watching TV. Husband is well off. The children, they're doctor, engineers. She's still at home. She doesn't want to know the English. What she's going to use for communication? She doesn't want to speak. But
So you're saying it's a matter of choice. She has
It's
an
a matter of
opportunity, but she
choice.
doesn't want to.
She doesn't want
Is
to.
what
And
you said,
then
right? Okay.
I'm giving the example, and it's not true. Most of the women, they know English. When they go for shopping, they do the bargain in English.
Mm-hmm.
How come they learn English? They watch the English dramas. So it's not that our society is not left behind. But where he was visiting at the time, he said the words in Manchester. It's a very orthodox type of the community of Pakistani and Muslim and English and Bangladeshis and all. They are very, very backward. But he used a wrong language at the time, and I did the program live on that. There were so many women. They said we work as a chemist, we are a doctor, we are an engineer, we are doctor, so we know English. So it's the wrong word he is, but he did not apologize and he did not say sorry somehow. However, whatever he said, it's a totally wrong. It's your choice. I speak English. Maybe my mother, she came in this country and she passed. She's now 60 years old. She had an intermediate, she had an O level. She cannot speak English, but she was writing and everything was good. And one day I asked my mother, I said, Mom, where did you get these things? She does all the shopping in Dagenham, Harrods and all of it. Mom, you can speak English. You know how to bargain these things and you know the prices. Believe me, in 1 month you were speaking like me. I said, my God. So it's not that we left behind. If they want to learn, they want to learn. If they don't want to learn, they don't want to learn. Yes, if they are professional, doctors and engineers
They have
and all,
to, they have to.
to
Yeah,
learn it.
yeah.
If they're not using, if they're not communicating, it means they're not justifying their profession. So he said the words very, very, very low level. I mean, this is the wrong way, I think. So if we people like a Muslim or anybody speak about the white people or English people on their language, and they will call us racist. We did not call him racist. He said the wrong word. With the 60, 70 years old women, if she speaks English, she doesn't speak English. She may be communicating with their own family, with their own people, with their own community. So what is I think English or not English? Yes.
Okay.
If he's talking about the imam, if he's talking about the scholars, if he's talking about the professional, yes, I agree. And of course, they all know this, the English language.
No, because it would be a problem if, say, for example, we're in England and we have religious scholars, just to branch out a little bit, and they
Yes.
don't speak English. That might be problematic. 'cause
It's a big
that's-
problem.
that's,
We are suffering with this
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
It's a
'cause
huge
you
problem.
can't service the community. You can only service
No.
a ethnic community, but not
No,
the general
you
community.
have to. You have
So
to
that
speak
might be a
in
problem.
English.
Let me just bring in Simon for a second. Simon, interesting comments by the Prime Minister. Dare I say our Prime Minister? Was it just a soundbite? Was it just politics of Enoch Powell? Just a little echo? You know, it grabs attention, shock jock, gets a headline. It will travel. He knows that it's going to be retweeted and posted
Yeah.
on Facebook, and it will reverberate. Is a Muslim community
Phobia.
now the beating stick or the whipping boy? Just to, it's easy politics.
Well, I mentioned this a few weeks ago on another show I did about Donald Trump, and
Mhm.
I argued there that when he came out with his inflammatory comments, it was intended to smooth over very serious problems in American society to do with gun crime and violence. And similarly here, you have to ask the question: okay, why has he come out with this statement? And again, I think part of it is to do with this whipping boy argument, which the sister has alluded to, that Muslims are an easy target in terms of political attacks, and it makes others. It's a bit of like divide and rule, so it makes other people feel better about their situation, even though they may not be in a position of inequality. So as we've touched on, other women in society may feel better about Muslim women being attacked because, it's.
We're more advanced than that.
Yeah. So we're not like them. So he's having a go at them, not us. So we're okay. We're in the good camp. They're in the bad camp, sort of thing. So I think there's an element of that. But having said that, I mean, there might be a kernel of truth in it, in the statement, because if you think particularly of marriage, it is more transactional in Islam than it is in Western societies. So, for example, if you have entered into an expensive dowry, for example, then the question is, well, what is the other party getting for the money? Which is not something that exists so much in Western society. We don't have that dowry, so two people may meet on a sort of an equal playing field, whereas the man has maybe paid off a huge sum of money at the father-in-law's request to get the bride. So what's the payback? What is he getting in return? Is he getting a submissive wife? Somebody's going to cook and clean for him for the rest of his life. So there is that. There is more sort of an economic aspect to Islamic marriages, which may result in this inequality in the household. I'm not saying it would necessarily happen, but certainly it's an aspect of Islamic or Muslim society that does not so much exist in Western culture.
Okay. So let me bring it. We spoke generally, and we did speak a bit about the Prime Minister's comments regarding the Muslim community in this country. Muslim women. It was actually not just the community, but targeted at the Muslim women. Do we think, nonetheless, that there are some truths and some things that we need to address in the Muslim community, say, for example, in Britain, that are uncomfortable truths, but others who do not have our best interests at heart as Muslims use it as a way of attacking the Muslim community? But is it something that we should address? I'll expand the point.
So, yes.
I'm going to say something like, for example, forced marriage or FGM or these type of things which grab headlines and people use it just to put Muslims under attack. But do we have some house cleaning to do? Regardless of who says these things, do we internally look and say we can address gender imbalance between men and women in Muslim society?
Well, I would just develop the point I was making about dowry. Maybe we need to expand our understanding of what that is in an Islamic sense. Do we need to go back to the roots of what a dowry was at the time? Why was there a dowry? Why does the Quran?
What's the hikmah behind that?
Why does the Quran say pay the women the dowry? Was it to do with the fact that women were allowed to, men married multiple wives and maybe abandoned a few and left them destitute? Was it a way of ensuring their welfare, their livelihood? Is that the hikmah behind it? So it's a sort of insurance for the newly, rather than something you purchased. But I think
because if it's given to, say, in other maybe non-Islamic settings, dowries may go to like the family, for example. So the woman's owning her own property, so she's being empowered by that process.
Yes. And the other word in English for dowry is bride price. You hear that going. I mean, it's something very common in the 19th century, wasn't it? When women were less independent than they are now. So I think it's natural for Western society has moved out of that period of history, to view cultural Islamic practices as backward, because they reflect something from the past which they think they moved away from. So maybe we do need to reassess what an actual dowry means in a pure Quranic context.
Okay, interesting. What say you, Sister Sarah?
We don't follow the Quranic most of the things because we don't understand the Quran with the meaning that Samuel said. Not many people as they follow the Quran's real how to marry and who to marry, who don't have to marry, and what is the parents' guidance and how you can propose. We don't follow at all. It's a general assumption that we are talking about. So the question you said, yes, we have to look into our problems, that our children they should marry the way they want to marry. They have to marry the way they want to live the life to live the way they are. I mean, they have been brought up here. They have got education here. They've got a relation in the community, and the friends and the colleagues are here. They should marry the way they want to marry. And our parents, there's
no problem. Shouldn't our parents, there's between what the young people, they don't understand what's out there. We need to choose for them, or at times really choose for them. And even if
Quran doesn't say at all that you have to choose your children's husband the Quran doesn't say no bride. No, Quran doesn't say, and the Prophet ﷺ said no. It's your choice. Suppose if I have got a boy, if he wants to marry a girl, I'll say yes, fair enough. But the Quran and the Prophet ﷺ, he did not refuse that she should not marry or he should not marry on his own choice. No. What happened exactly, I'll tell you. I don't know if you have ever heard about it or not. Our parents, they have the land in Pakistan. They have a property here. They don't want the children should go on the wrong path, so they can property and the assets and the gold and the land can be split.
Okay,
That
so it's
is the
about
main
wealth. It's
point.
about, so for some
So we are
cultures, it's about
talking
wealth.
it's a normally, generally everybody has got a land in Pakistan. Most of the people from the village, they all have inheritance land, which cost billions and millions of pounds sometime. So that is the main factor. We have had 3 or 4 cases last year, the forced marriage, and then the girl, she committed suicide, and the father, he went all the way to Kenya, he shot her, and then one of the boy, he was not a straight man, and he killed his wife. There are a lot of cases here. 2 or 3 cases a year you hardly heard. So that is a
So although we can't generalize,
We can't.
these are examples.
this
these
is
are clear
one
examples,
example
yeah.
of the land and the property, and these are the assets. They are stopping them not to marry the right person. This is the main thing. That's why the Muslim community gradually progressing for a high rate of divorce, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, some statistics that are now starting to mirror non-Muslim Western trends as well.
Yesterday I was dealing with one of the guy. Unfortunately, he was Muslim. He got married in Pakistan and he married again here. He brought the girl over the home office. The home office has got pending cases, millions of files. They don't see the people who's got married, who's a genuine case it comes. But the people, they married twice, they married 3 times, and then they got through. So this is another problem. So we have to educate our children. If you want to find a right person, please bring it to home. We have to find his background. Who is he? Where does he come from? Has he got children? Has he got a wife before? And then you can plan. But unfortunately, we're children, they're new blood, they don't want to listen. Who cares? And
Well,
these
youth
things
are
goes
filled
wrong.
with passion. That's part of being young.
This
isn't
is
it?
the problem. The
exciting.
young people, they make more mistakes, and then who suffer at the end? Parents. They don't suffer. They say, okay, fine, this he was not mine. Okay, next, plenty of fish in the sea. But the parents, they suffer. It's the same thing in your community, in our community, where you have the problem. People, parents are not happy. So what my advice is for the parents, think about it. And the children, they have to think about it. 10 times who to marry. It's very difficult to find
Is there
the
any
right
gender
person.
imbalance though in terms of who? And just because we're looking at
Yes.
a number of things, but say for
Yeah.
example with forced marriage, I'm sure that there are young men. Again, not generalizing, but there have been cases where there's young men who were forced into or extremely pressured into marrying somebody that they didn't want to marry. But could I be right in saying that probably more women, more young sisters,
More women,
end up?
yes. I'm dealing 3-4 people at the moment. They wanted to marry forcibly to her daughter. She wants to go to Pakistan. She didn't go for 5 years because if she goes, hook. So there are 3-4 cases a week I deal, and I try to speak to them, and I said to them, yesterday I was dealing, in fact, the boy, her mother, she wants him to marry a girl from his hometown, and she's from village, but she's going to be a doctor. And this boy, he is 22, and he's born here. How can he marry a girl he doesn't know? Whatever, she's a doctor or something. How can your whole life you're giving somebody you
It's a
don't
big commitment.
know?
It's a big
It's a big commitment.
Yeah.
End of the day, I told to her mother, I said, look, 4 years you've been going through, and you know he's not going to marry that girl. You're wasting your time and his time. Let her live the way he wants. Let him finish the degree. We talk about it. So now, finally, she said, okay, freeze. Now he can marry anyone he wants. This is the second case I'm dealing with this week. So I always say to the people, don't make a wrong choice. Take your time. Think about it. Don't make mistakes. Same to the parents and same to the children. Please let them grow up the way they want to. They're born here. They know better sometimes more than we do, but let them live happily.
So in particularly to that, that's very much about education. Well, we're going to stop for a break.
Yes.
And we hope to hear from you on the other side of 0203 515 1234. We've opened up the conversation. It's been dynamic, it's been intriguing, and I hope to hear from the other side. Until that such time, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the part 2 of Breaking Boundaries. The question, should women know their place? And like I mentioned before the break, we would love to hear from you on 0203 515 1234. Feel free at any time to join the conversation, to ask a question or make a comment. You can agree or disagree. We don't mind, but as long as you're not disagreeable about disagreeing. Wanted to ask a question. Something came to mind about the role of Muslim women in particular in society, and oftentimes when you talk about the role of Muslim women, people, automatic reaction say, you know, she is mother, she is wife, she's the one that raises the children. I don't want to demean those tasks in any way or those roles, because they're pivotal roles in terms of the building blocks of society, but they almost fix women in a certain position. And I'm trying to understand the Muslimah, the Muslim woman, in a more versatile way. So away from her children, away from being somebody's wife or somebody's mother, what's her potential? What roles can she do? What roles should she do? What say you?
Yes, well, when this traditionally submissive comment was made by Cameron, you had this backlash, didn't you, of well, I'd say younger women who were...
Particularly younger sisters, right?
Who proclaimed, in a sort of ironic sense, I'm a mother of 2 children, I'm a wife, I'm also a dentist, a pharmacist, a doctor, whatever it is, just to, you know, stick 2 fingers up to Cameron when he made this comment. So, I mean, I don't think there can be any restrictions on what Muslim women can do. Yes, they may dress in a particular way, but I can't really see that or anything about Muslim women as being an impediment to any sort of job or career path. I mean, typically they do choose, you know, there was probably a high proportion of dentists, doctors, pharmacists in my experience, but that's just the way it goes. It doesn't say anything about them. It's just the way, you know, the career path they've been chosen. But there can't be any restrictions as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Maybe some would say, but as long as she doesn't, what do you say? It doesn't compromise her hijab or her modesty. There's always that argument.
Yeah, but why should any job compromise her?
Good question. We'll throw that out. We'll hopefully we get a response from our viewing public. Sister.
1500 years back, Prophet Muhammad's time, when they used to have a war, they used to go to battlefield. The women used to go behind them carrying their food, water, and the sort of music that in Arabic we call daf. They used to do it to encourage the man to fight. So that if the man treats a woman a good position, it's like a backbone. But unfortunately, as I told you in the beginning, male-dominating personality we have, so women are left behind. Women can fly. They have a pilot. They have an engineer. They have a pharmacist. They are a lawyer, the best lawyer. They are good drivers. Women physically, I'm not saying they are not very strong, but they have got a brain. They can do it. What you can do it. Believe me, women can do it. They should have the same salaries, same the post.
Steady on. No, I'm just. You know,
for a women, they should do it, and I'm sure if the men will treat women and give them a good hand and encouragement, you can do it. Believe me, women can do it. But we always live like a cat in the house. No, he's gonna come back and say, "Oh no, you can't do it." As soon as the man enter in the house, especially in our community, the men will point finger at the women. You can't do it. You did this. The children are not eating. My God, men should take the half of the responsibility of the house. Things will be changed.
So do you think that that's quite common, that that's not not, again, we can't generalize.
We're not talking about the Muslim society. I am not nothing to do with the Muslim society. I'm talking generally. Same thing in English culture. Same thing as our culture. It's the same scenario. The women should take the responsibility of the half of the matter, and the men should take the half. So the things will be changed. The children can grow well. Why don't the men come and sit with the children?
No, but what about the role? What I'm really trying to find out is about using our imagination, because I must admit that there's something in modern society has been quite suppressed. So in terms of being critical thinkers or imaginative thinkers, what roles or how can Muslim women empower themselves to ultimately empower the Muslim community, the Muslim society? Because the reason why I'm raising this point, because I go back to one of my teachers and one of my role models, Malcolm X, and he said on his travels, the countries that he went to, where he found that the people were ignorant or the people lacked in education and good decorum. He goes, the women were the epitome of that. And likewise, on the flip side, the societies that were where people had good manners and it was quite educated society, he goes, the women embodied that. So it's as if a nation can rise no higher than its woman. So that's what I'm trying to find out. How can Muslim women empower themselves, and as the community will benefit from it?
Education. education will change the world. Muslim women, if they're not educated, if they can do it, if they think they can do it, they have to educate themselves. Not the English, not I'm talking English. Learning English will take you nowhere unless you have education.
But it
People
won't
can
harm
speak
you.
English. Our dustman can speak English, but he cannot be a doctor. English is not the solution. Education and the behavior, that is the main thing. Muslims are being blamed extremists. If you love your religion, if I love my religion and he love his religion, do you think we'll be extremists? This has been blamed for many, many years since 9/11. If you're praying 5 times and you respect your neighbors, you give the food as a woman, you cook, you do good things, extremists. So women, where the women is gonna go from here? You love your religion, do you respect your religion? Our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to cook and he used to give his cooked food to the neighbor, and the neighbor was Jewish. So this is the way we come. If we are, I'm covering my hijab, I'm not extremist. You know what happened last 2 weeks before? I was in Boots in High Street, Hammersmith. A black lady, she came, she abused me, accused me, racist abuse, and she was about to pull my scarf. Believe me, I kept quiet, and I said, okay, leave it. She's mental. Believe me, I kept quiet. She came just very close to my nose, and I moved away. I said, no, I'm educated. Oh, just remind my father, you're educated. Don't do that. And she was waiting outside of the Boots gate, and I said, my God, we had a now women problem. I have to call the police because I have to use as a woman my right. I'm not going to have a physical fight with this lady. And what happened after that? She said to me, okay, come out, I'll sort you out. Oh my God. I said, my God, I had a very bad day. I could have taken exactly the same scenario like David Cameron. He said, oh, Muslim women, I could have done on social media, I could have flared up this thing.
You took the higher moral ground. I just want to bring
I did not say anything to anybody. I did, being as a woman, I patience, and I did what? Realize myself. I said, God, give him a guidance. As a woman, I did not say nothing. I'm educated. I don't take small things serious. I could have done this thing. You know what? It can be extremism. Why
Let me bring
people are doing to the women like this?
Intriguing story. I just want to bring Simon in to also get your reflections on that about what and how can Muslim women be more empowered in the society. Well, I'm assuming there's a need for that. I mean, as they say,
I think to an extent,
nothing, but I'm assuming that.
I think to an extent, change comes from within. So, I mean, the best example I would give is the Karbala story, because Imam Hussein was prepared to die, knowing that his brother was very ill and weak and unable to lead the communities.
Yeah.
So he was entrusted to his sister Zainab to lead the Ummah basically and take things forward. So there's no sense in which her hijab and her modesty and her coyness, which is a sort of traditional epithet that you attach to wisdom, was a fact. It was an impediment in her going to the vanguard of that particular community and representing the tradition of the Prophet. So in a sense, the hijab has had this sort of has become a symbol, I think, of sort of modesty. Well, not modesty is the wrong word, but
it's a symbol of
timidity. It's because of timidity and cowardice that is in complete contradiction to the stories that we.
So are you saying that we need to redefine possibly hijab? I don't mean physically, but in terms of our understanding of that, or have a more contemporary or revolutionary understanding?
Maybe it's like more sort of PR. We need a PR push for the hijab, don't we? Because there are very prominent women wearing hijab.
Absolutely.
We had the Great British Bake Off winner from last year. What's her name? Nadia.
Yeah.
She's on chat shows and she does this, that, and the other.
Being a Muslim hasn't inhibited her from playing this public role.
No, she's completely natural in the role, and nobody notices when she's becoming her job has become invisible, but she's known for what she does rather than what she looks like.
Because I've heard a sister say once, talking about it was a public conversation, and she said that what has happened that in some Muslim cultures, that men have tried to bury women in the hijab, almost like in Jahiliyyah, women being buried in the sand, but now women must be invisible, women must not be heard, women must not be seen. The worst thing that could happen is they should be seen by men, things of this nature. Yeah. So I don't know if that's misogyny through the back door, but I think we've got a call on line 1. Hello and assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to mention the sister was quite right that women should get the same pay as men. there's no such thing that women can't get the same amount of money, because end of the day, and women should not be denied. Women, once another time when the Lord gives us children, we like to have children and we like to look after our children. So there should be a lot of flexibility for women to even come in and see the children. Because I actually wanted to make a statement. See, one of the girls I know, she said that she has to go out to work part-time, and it's normally 30 hours, but she's only going to get 20 hours. And I actually felt for her, because I felt as if she's got a little child, and she said that I really would like to just go home and look after my child, but she doesn't have a choice, because David Cameron's made different decisions for people on benefits. So that young girl that I spoke to said that she has to do it. And she says, I need to send my children somewhere else now. They'll have to look after them. She couldn't even, because her mum's busy sometimes, she can't even give a child to her mum. So I felt for her. Why can't she not just look after a child? Why does she have to get forced to go to work? And she's not even going to get paid for it.
So it's I guess it's a reflection of
and I just have to say, of course, women on different levels. So it depends on your circumstance. Some are rich and successful, and they're even successful than men, and
Absolutely.
it's a great thing. But also want to mention, sometimes women do get taken advantage of, because they look at us as a piece of meat rather than something else. They should look at us as a human being, as of intelligence and of a brain, not advertisers and put us down, because I'm a woman myself, and I find it downgrading when they do things like that, advertising and show women this is how we should dress. So as a Muslim lady, I feel more empowerment, and I feel safe and strong, because I don't have to dress to impress the society. You know, so I just wanted to mention that, because you've got a lot of time and the show's going to finish. It's such a great topic, and good luck to you
Thanks
all
a lot.
anyway.
Sister, before you go off the line,
Yes,
I'd like to get some feedback about your comments from Sister Sarah. Anything that you'd like to comment on the sister, or answer, or just mention?
Yes, it's good. The one point, sister, I like that you're saying that what I understand, that you're saying that the women should look after the home, they should not do the work. There is a time you can look after your child by 8, 9, 10, gradually he's progressing to his age.
Some people are scared because they want to bring the child up themselves. They're scared in case of something that happened to the child.
Yes, I have a child, he's 8 years old. I drop him in the morning and I go to work, and after that I finish part-time job.
MashaAllah, that's great.
Then I look after my child. It doesn't mean that 3:30 I have got plenty of time for 5-6 hours.
But don't you think your situation is different, because you might be well off? The other young girl was not so well off, and she's already struggling with other support.
You are right, but there are exceptions.
There are different levels. Everyone's got their own situation. Depends on someone's situation.
You are very much right, sister. But the problem is that sitting at home and watching TV and looking after your child
TV
is not good.
TV doesn't get you anywhere, sister.
Depend on a second. Let me answer.
But I guess we're talking in general. Instead of personalize it to you or her. Generally, some will.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Yes, there was a time when women doesn't work, and they used to look after the house, cooking and cleaning and things. And at that
thank you for your call, sister. Much appreciated for your call.
Sister, you must listen my answer. But that time you can never have the tomato tin. You have to do it yourself. You have to go and pluck the tomato and cut it and make the food.
She said it's more time because of technology. Women
the
could be more
technology is fine, and everything is cooked. Everything is cooked. You take 10 minutes to cook and we're finished. So the time has come for us. We have to put our foot down and do the work. Sitting at home watching TV and giving comments is not going to help your child and you. You might go into depression. You might be stressed. You might have a different circumstances. One could be disability, could be depression, could be domestic violence. Anything could be. I don't know. Everybody has got a different circumstances, but I'm telling you one thing. The government pays you for your private nursery, the government pays you for your education if you're doing a course, but you have to look after your children. But when they are in school, what do you do at home? Watch TV, clean the house, cooking. 15 minutes.
I have a message to interject.
15 minutes food is finished, then you have to go to work. Your sister, she's very much right.
No, she makes an interesting point.
No, but different circumstances.
But let me add this into the conversation. Let me inject this into the conversation also. I've got a WhatsApp from my brother Ahmed in London, and he says, why are we talking about women as if they lack so much? We keep saying they need education, they need to step up, why don't we talk about what they already are stepping up and doing in a powerful way in a variety of fields? I don't know if he's alluding to, for example,
Yes.
the hashtag. Was it hashtag?
Hashtag traditionalist.
Yeah. So there was examples of so many women. So he asked an interesting question.
Yes.
Why is the
Yeah,
conversation
because
being framed in that
that's-
sense?
We must say that this
Interesting.
is the International Women's Day was yesterday, and we are talking women's today. The most conversations of women empowerment. Our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as a Muslim, his daughter. This month his daughter passed away, so I don't know which day was that. So we're talking about the women's empowerment, and plus we are talking about the International Women's Day. So this is a topic for today: how to empower the women. This is the main basically thing. So that
I hope it's not a wrong thing, but we're talking to empower sisters. We're not assuming that because
yeah.
there are professional and powerful and educated
Of
women that we
course
should
not.
that we've equaled things out or balanced it out, and there aren't gender
you
issues.
should give me a credit that I'm sitting with the man and talking about the women only on my own. You
We
should have
appreciate
more
your
women,
presence, sister, no doubt.
Thank you very much. But the point she raised, of course, women should work at home. Women should stay at home and look after the house, look after the children, do the cooking and cleaning and things. But the time has changed. You can't just sit at home and do nothing unless you have a disability, you are suffering with the problems, and there's a lot of issues. But you cannot stay all day at home and claim the benefits and think, no, that is wrong. We should get out of the work. This is the main thing. Women empowerment is very important. Women's roles is very important in our society, in our politics. And this is the world has changed. The time has gone. Women should sit at home, watch TV and smoke and drink.
Simon,
and do
the time
nothing.
has gone.
Yes.
The time has gone. What
Women
say
should
you?
step out, get out of the house and do the work.
What say
Simon.
you?
Yeah, but none of this.
Over to you.
None of this. I mean, the caller made a very critical point. None of what she was saying applies exclusively to Muslim women, does it? You could have, why limit it to them? What you can apply the same logic to Western
To any
women,
any
religion
group.
or no religion whatsoever.
Exactly. So it's just it's just a straw man issue. It's something that's again, it's just Muslims being used as a whipping boy with this traditionally submissive tag. That
Okay.
there's
So you
no-
think it's a
there's
red
no-
herring and a smoke screen now?
Absolutely,
All
'cause-
women throughout society, not all women as individuals, but women and mass would benefit from empowerment, and it would enrich the society,
Yeah.
and likewise in the Muslim community. Because
Yeah, so let's not limit it to Muslim women.
Yeah.
Let's-
Yeah,
let's-
we're
let's
not talking
go-
about the Muslims now.
Yeah.
I have
we
nothing-
might, as Muslims on this show, we might speak generally, or we might focus on the
Yes.
Muslim community. Like when I mentioned before, as I said,
Yeah.
a sister said once that that some men or some cultures have attitudes to bury the women in a hijab. You can't
It
go
was-
public,
it
and they're
was-
using religion as through the back door, but maybe it's motivated by some misogynist or wanting to control women.
Bilal,
Yeah.
I must tell you, it was not the women to be buried with hijab. The women, if the woman is born, if the girl is born, they have to bury her alive. There's a lot of examples before the Islam. It was not after Islam. That's why the Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala created Islam to come on a right path and respect women. Women is the same as your sister, your daughter, your mother. Women has got a very big role, and we just had a Mother's Day. I don't believe in a Mother's Day. Every day is for a Mother Day. How can we be?
Absolutely.
Subhanallah.
How can you justify the Mother's Day for once a year? One day you bring a flower and a gift and a packet of chocolate. It's a shame. I never celebrate Mother's Day, either a white or English or black or Muslim or non-Muslim. Every day is a Mother's Day. It's the same time we are talking about the women's. How can you bring it? The mother gave you a life, heart, your everything. She's there every time. Whenever you need her and you're giving her once a year, you're giving her a gift. What is this? Where are we going? So if we don't respect our women's, we don't respect our sisters, daughters and women's, we can go nowhere.
But again, that's not a Muslim issue.
No.
It's
No,
across
it's
the
not
board.
a
It's a society
issue.
issue.
So,
We
know,
don't
it's a society
as a
issue.
Muslim issue, we don't celebrate.
But sometimes we do have to address it as in Muslims, I think, because what we can be guilty of as Muslims is saying, that we had the perfect example in, say, the Fatima alayhi salam, or we had the perfect
Yes.
example, other schools of thought, we had the perfect example in Aisha, but we would say, but Muslim women don't have that platform now, or so that's historical, that's a good example, but what
But the time has
about
changed.
now?
Yes,
So
what
let
you
me read you another
Yes.
WhatsApp message. We said, there's a few actually. Personally, I believe that downgrading women is a sign of utter disrespect. I believe although cultural norms may be prevalent, from an intellectual view, that could be overcome. Women can have corporate minds, women can be intellectual. Why do we undermine their capacity? Just my 2 pennies worth from Anon.
I know.
I don't know if that's anonymous or Anon.
That's
I
okay.
do want to pay justice to some of the people who took the time to WhatsApp in as well. There's another one that says, we need to learn English because we are in England. Big trouble for our children if they turn around and end up on drugs. That would be a bad example. Lack of communication in family needed to understand same language. I agree with David. Time is changed. We need to move our life in the UK. We need to fit in or else. I'm Muslim and I do sport as a lady, but Pakistani man need more education than ladies. From a sister in Lancashire. That was a sister's opinion and not mine. But again, let me just read the final message. I'm a doctor and a teacher and a cleaner, and I don't get paid for this job, but I choose to have children once they go to high school. But children need education from mums. That's the way to stay with us. As from the same sister in Lancashire.
Okay, I'll give you the answer for the last one if you don't mind. Please, the Women's Day.
It's Women's Day.
Okay, you know, the women can do the maximum to bring out their children a best, beautiful, good, better life. Okay, but most of the time we can't do much. Our hands are very tight because we live in London. We have to obey the law. You can't hit, you can't shout, you can't say shut up. You cannot check their bag, and you cannot have their attendance if they are going to school or not. Our law need to be amended. They have to implement the new rules. You know something?
Sister Sarah, we're running out of time, but I really want to get your brief takeaway message. Likewise yourself, brother, because the time has gone so quick. We're just warming up. It's the plane is just taken off, but we have to.
Okay, my message is this: that as a Women's International Day, women can do a lot. Give them give them the chance and their feedback and encourage them. They can do a best for their life and their kids and the family life. But I'll give you the message for our women: please do not sit on a couch and slouch. Get out of the house and do something. You can do it and you will do it. Do it.
Anything else?
That's it.
That's your takeaway message, brother.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Simon.
Yeah, I think we're being attacked. We are regarded as a soft touch, but we need to keep getting out of our comfort zones, keep getting it out there, putting out the message and standing up for ourselves.
Okay. Final message for the day before I give you the
Final
thought. It says, Salaam alaikum. I agree with the sister that previously called in. Women shouldn't have a specific place. The woman should have the right to do what she would like to do, be it work or stay at home, whatever she feels her role is at a specific moment in time, as long as it's her decision. I think that's quite empowering. I think I've heard one public speaker say that, home is not necessarily the woman's place, but it's her space where she may operate from. That's not her place, but her base. So, she's based in the home and may, regulate and organize a home, but it doesn't mean that that's where she has to remain. She has much more to offer, as you alluded to, the sister. I guess we have a consensus that women are much more capable than being.
You can never keep today's women in a cage. Women should not be kept in a cage. Women should not be demoralized. Women should be empowered, and then they have to work. We have to work together. This is men's duty and men's job to how to take care of your women. So the women can go out, can do lot of things. Half of the burden she can take care, but you have to give. This is a men's world we are living. We have to give a space to our women so they can get out. You can trust, and you can share things. So
absolutely,
that's the main thing. I'll say that the women should not left behind. They should be empowered, and this is men's responsibility as well as women's as well to compromise with the circumstances.
I like that as a takeaway message. Women should not be left behind. We thank you for joining us this week and staying with us for the duration. Thank you, Sister Shah. Thank you, Brother Simon. Thank you all for staying with us for the duration. I think the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, one of his last words was to say to his community, take care of the women, do justice by your women. So as we greet you in peace, we leave you in peace until next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.